are the birds still nesting at the front door? Last time I checked, yeah, but oh my god,
Horrifying mythical
the ground in front of the bird's nest is like horrifying. It's like a full layer of bird shit. It's really not good. It's really gross.
Pictures from around the world. Again.
Whee! The Jersey Devil!
If you're from my neck of the woods or are fans of a certain hockey team, you might be familiar with the Jersey Devil. Let me set the mood. It's a dark, stormy, cliche spooky night where we find this withering old broad. This is Mother Leeds,
Mother
a
Leeds.
presumed witch on the verge of slopping out her 13th crotch goblin.
13?
Problem is,
Dang,
she
that's
didn't actually
crazy.
want this child because, well, 12 children is doable, 13 is just absurd. So during this pregnancy, she had wished that the devil himself would take this child from her. And that's apparently enough to make
No,
a
he's a
binding
furry!
contract. The baby was born and looked as cute as a button. But as it aged, it began to evolve into a twisted monstrosity,
Oh, God.
transforming into the Jersey Devil. It is described as having a horse-like body, a goat head, a forked tail, and large menacing wings that allow it to soar through the pine trees of southern New Jersey in the United States.
Just because he was an
But is he
unwanted
real?
child?
Well, back in 1909, there was a moment of panic as several reports across the states of Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey stated sightings of the winged beast. Some claims
wonder what they
involved
actually
the killing
saw.
of livestock, an attack on a trolley car, and even an attack on a social club. The reported attacks caused mayhem on local businesses
Zoom it,
and
thanks for the
schools
Prime.
closed out of fear.
Drugs?
The Philadelphia Zoo
Oh.
even put up a
everyone was just
$10,000
doing
reward
drugs?
for the capture of the creature, which still remains unclaimed to this day. So if you ever find yourself
Maybe
unlucky
it was like a
enough to
vulture
actually
or
be in
something?
New Jersey itself and are traveling down
vultures
the
do
empty
shit
county
at night?
roads in the dense pine barrens, keep an eye to the night sky as he hunts for prey. If you don't catch a glimpse, your hairs may stand on end when you hear his blood-curdling screeches, but also his fresh rhymes.
Okay.
Ever have the insatiable craving for the flesh of a fellow human? Well,
No!
you might just be a Wendigo, or you
Oh.
need to seek some professional help, or both. Just a little ways up into the great white north of Canada
Oh,
is
Canada.
where we find the origins of the Wendigo legend. Stemming from the folklore of the indigenous Algonquin Native American tribe, the Wendigo
Algonquin.
is said to either be an evil spirit or a creature in its own right. It is described as a thin, emaciated corpse with long, sharp claws on its little fingies. Its skin is sallow and gray, giving it a sallow and gray appearance. It also sports a stylish
It's
deer skull
gray,
and
which
antlers,
makes it
which
look
is a
gray.
great distraction from the fact that you have 0.67 seconds left to live now that you've seen one. The Wendigo mercilessly hunts down any prey that gets lost in the woods on dark, cold, wintry nights. It is never satisfied when it feasts and must relentlessly seek out more prey. Every time it does feed, it grows larger in proportion, but always looks like it skipped every gym day possible. A Wendigo can grow as large as 15 feet, which,
15
I mean, at that point you might as well just give up as they have exceptional hearing and eyesight, so there's no point in hiding. Oh yeah, I said they, because there can be multiple. But if you are feeling like these Wendies need to go, you can test your luck in ripping one's heart out and setting it on fire to banish it to the Shadow Realm forever. Just remember that there are others waiting nearby.
Seems manageable.
Let's take a skip across the pond to Ireland, the home of rain, redheads, beer, and the Dullahan. Never heard of the Dullahan? Well, I'm gonna tell you about the Dullahan. He is known as the
Dullahan?
Harbinger of Death, a foreboding figure that leaves nothing but destruction in his wake.
Is that his
The
spine?
Dullahan is described as a headless horseman with clothes and a horse blacker than black, giving him the appearance of a character you have yet to unlock. He carries his head in one hand and a human spine whip in another, which he uses to whip out the eyes of anyone who dares to look upon him.
Oh.
Oh look, the Dullahan. Hey. The Dullahan is also a bit of a party pooper, showing up on holidays and festivals to fill his quota of bodies and to step on your cake. Oh, my cake. So if you want to avoid this guy,
Asshole.
there's two possibilities. One is that you're his target and there's absolutely nothing you can do, so... But if you're not his intended victim, be sure you're carrying
thanks
at
for
least
the
a
Prime.
single gold coin in your pocket or wearing gold jewelry, as the Dullahan hates gold for some reason. You ever see a Dullahan chasing down a blinged out rapper? I didn't think so.
Nope.
Right across the Irish Sea is Scotland. It's like Ireland, but more Scottish, and they've got some pretty interesting creatures in their repertoire. But today, we will be looking at the Each Uisge. Yeah, doesn't sound how it looks, does it? The Each Uisge is a malevolent water spirit that takes on the form of a horse because Each Uisge literally means water horse in Scottish Gaelic. So what does it look like? Pretty much a wet horse. Some interpretations have it with fins or claws, but a wet horse just seems funnier to me. What isn't funny is why it is so evil. The malevolent mare is said to roam the nearby sea, but can trot around on land where you may even be able to mount and ride the demonic horse if you've got the stones for it. The problem is, once you've climbed aboard, you become permanently stuck to its back if it smells or even sees water, and, you know, being a water spirit, that's pretty much a given. Once you've locked onto the saturated steed, it makes a beeline for the sea.
Oh, shit!
Underwater, you can't. So you can see why you'd be in a bit of a pickle.
Okay, well,
the
I guess
Each Uisge will drag you down to the darkest depths where you will be ripped from its back and consumed, with only your stinky liver remaining to float to the surface as proof of your demise. Maybe you shouldn't ride on the back of a demonic horse? I don't know. But if you feel like you don't stand a chance, I suppose you could load up a blunderbuss full of silver to convert the horse demon into a pasta sauce. But first, make sure it's not just a normal horse you're aiming at.
Pesta.
The Black Plague wasn't fun for anyone. Millions died to an invisible force that ravaged Europe, Asia, and Northern Africa. So, what's the best way to make sense of such an unknown cause of death? Why make up a horrifying mythical nightmare creature, of course. In Norway, you may hear tales of the Pesta, a decrepit old witch that was the personification of the Black Plague itself. She is described as a dusty old hag dressed in black with the typical dead sunken eyes. You've seen this stuff before. I mean, how scary could it really be? Grandma Plague is always traveling, either on foot, by boat, or even flying, with no true destination, but only with the intention of spreading desolation and despair. She can show up to your house at any moment. Grabbing some breakfast? Pesta. Doing laundry? Pesta. Petting your cat? Check again, because you're petting the Pesta, and she loves it. This crusty old bitch comes equipped with either a broom or a rake, which, according to legend, determines the magnitude of death that she will leave behind. So, remember this. If you see a rake, a few are left in her wake. If you see a broom, you're all fucked. Unfortunately, since she is the representation of the plague, there is no way to truly defeat her. Your best bet is to maintain your distance from others and practice.
Wait, maybe Cheddar is the Pesta. He is super crusty and dusty. No. Doppelganger? Wait, is this
If you've ever glanced at a mirror and taken a look at the gorgeous creature standing before you, then you know what a doppelganger looks like. Or at least you know what your doppelganger looks like, because that's what a doppelganger is. An identical, non-biologically related copy of you. So, sorry twins, you gotta sit this one out. You guys are creepy enough as it is. Originating from German folklore, it's unknown what this creature's true form is, as it instantly mimics the first person it lays eyes on. These mischievous little scamps will try to ruin your reputation by committing evil deeds and tricks while assuming your identity. So, it could be a valid excuse to relieve you of responsibilities for your actions. Farted in class? Nah,
dude, yeah, it was definitely just some guy who did something so bad that everyone hated him, and he was like, it wasn't me, it was a fucking spirit that looked like me. And they're like, oh, okay, that makes more sense, because he would never do that.
Terrible credit score? Wrong guy. Mass arson? My hands are clean. Even if you're innocent and all that, what's concerning is that the doppelganger can actually start to influence your own decisions by planting evil thoughts in your head by means of telepathy. So if you're sweating bullets as you're tempted to swipe the officer's service weapon when he stops you for a minor traffic infraction, that's just a doppelganger talking. But you have to resist. Just don't resist the officer or you'll end up looking down a barrel.
Hey, you.
But if you do have to prove your innocence when side by side with your copy, there's a couple features that can tell you two apart. For one, the doppelganger has no shadow, so that's an easy giveaway. It also lacks a reflection, so it could just be a vampire that looks like you, or it's the doppelganger. Either way, that thing isn't you. You're you. Aren't you? And so there you have it.
Oh
more
god, what the
creatures from around the world.
He's breaking the immersion!
If you haven't already, be sure to check out my other video on the topic here. And if you've already watched that one, be sure to check out my other content here. Either way, I'll see you over there.
Is he also a mythical creature from around the world?